You're noticing that life gives you clarity of what you prefer, always changing, always offering opportunity for a preference to be born within you. You know that you are creators, that you are source energy in physical bodies. Yes. We see you as you really are, and we notice that you see you as you physically are more than you see you as you really are. Sometimes we notice that you have such a keen sense of this leading edge physically manifested you that you forget the non-physical part of you that is also there. In other words, the physical you is certainly an extension of who you really are. So as we visit with you, it is our desire to notice you as you are and applaud that which you are, and to know who you really are or were before you were born into this physical body. But then, even more than that, we want you to feel not just who you were before you were born or who you are now that you're here, but who you are becoming as a result of all of that. Because the eternal nature of our beingness is really what life is all about. This powerful now is a launching into what is more. And the true exhilaration of life is in the getting a sense of that motion from here to there. In other words, you hear people say that the joy is in the journey. And we want to say life is the journey. In other words, when you accept yourself as the continuum of spirit that you are, and you recognize that you were not sent here to catch up with a part of you that's already complete, you are here in the process of that becoming. And when you get the sense of that becoming, that's when life really becomes good for you. So the way it works is, you came forth, you brought your consciousness into this personality being that you know as you. And as you emerged into this physical body, into this wonderful variety and contrast, you knew that this variety would cause you to personally focus your personal, did we say personal? Did we say it enough that you can hear it? Your personal point of view preferences. And it was so known by you that this environment would inspire those preferences, and it was so known by you that when those preferences were born within you, that source that was you before you were born and is you now that you are born and is you as you are becoming, that source would immediately become one with that new idea or that new desire or that new preference or that new dream that was born out of what you were living. Even if you are the one-celled organism, when you are having your personal experience and a preference is born as it always must be, Source agrees with the leading edge you. Source understands that there's no one better to know what you desire and what is best for you. And friends, we want to say to you that your selfish nature ensures that you will always conclude on vibrational levels what is best for you. And when that happens, Source says, you should know we're with you. If you've been listening to us for a while, you may have heard us say that in this continuum of creation, that there is thought, and then there is thought that is thought upon longer, which becomes a congealed thought that some could call thought form, and some can actually sense it, feel it, see it, hear it. And if that thought is thought upon longer, it becomes manifestation. And everything that you know in your physical time-space reality, these things that you see, these things that you call reality, all of them are just that thought that has been thought upon until it has been agreed upon by more, until it becomes that which you interpret through your physical senses as reality. So the reason that we give this to you in this way is because we want you to understand that when you're standing in your life experience and the contrast causes a preference to be born within you, that in the moment that that preference is born, all that you would call God or source, that which we call source energy, becomes immediately one with that preference that is born within you. And what that means is every time you've lived anything and every time you've wanted anything, source, the largest part of you, has immediately become it. Become it. In other words, on that vibrational level, in the moment that you conceive it as something that you would prefer, it becomes on that vibrational level. And the energy and resources, the same energy and resources that have put this magnificent time-space reality into beingness, are behind that for you. So we like to say to you that over here in vibrational escrow, lovingly tended to for you by that broader non-physical part of you, is the life experience that you are in the process of making. So recently, Esther had an experience where the variety of her life caused a very clear preference to be born, sort of snuck up on her. She didn't expect it to happen. And it was a big one. And Esther said to Jerry, uh-oh. And he said, what? Esther said, you know, there's no turning back from this. Once life causes this to happen, a large part of you has already become that. And you, if you are to remain in alignment with who you really are, you must come up to speed with that. In other words, if there is a gap between what life has caused you to become and what you are allowing yourself to become, you don't feel so good. And that, friends, is why we call this the art of allowing. The art of allowing yourself to be all that you have already vibrationally become because of what you're living. For example, you have an experience with someone, never mind how they got there for now. It was an unpleasant altercation and you were rude in return to their rudeness. And you feel awful about it. Well, what happened was the experience caused you, as you were having exposure to someone who clearly wasn't tuned in, tapped in, turned on, who clearly wasn't having a good moment, who clearly wasn't in love with life, you got the full brunt of whatever they were living, and in your knee-jerk response, gave it right back. Now, you couldn't give it back if it wasn't already active in your vibration. So, this experience caused you to behave in a way that's not what you would behave if you were really thinking about what you were doing. And in the whole process of their rudeness and your rudeness, a rocket of desire or a preference was released from you into the ethers of future experience that said, I really want to honor people. I want to get along with them. Now, you might not be able to articulate that from where you are, but we can feel from where we are that that's what happened. In other words, you said so much with that vibration. I want the world to be a better place. I want to hook up with people that are nicer. I want to have only nice people in my travels. I want to bring the best out of people. I want the best to always come out of me. In other words, so many things on so many layers happened in that altercation, and you just flooded vibrational escrow full of all kinds of becoming. And the interesting thing about that is that in that experience, who you really are became it. And so non-physical energy, the bigger part of you, stands here already having become what that life experience just caused you to launch forward. We're not kidding you about that. In other words, a new standard of your life from your life experience carved out of what you were living just happened. The question is, where are you now in vibrational relationship to that which you have just become? Another example. You know someone who's sick and you're watching them decline, and you are worried about them and you are worried about you, and you are launching all kinds of preferences and rockets of desires about that. And source is becoming, because this is how the evolution of all things occurs. In other words, we don't think that you come even close to giving yourselves credit for the contrasting experience that you have as you hone the details of your physical life experience into the new fantastic becoming. We don't think you have any sense that you are source or God in a physical body in the process right now of setting forth this earth space, this time-space reality into that which it will become. Future generations will certainly benefit by the work that you are upon. This workshop is about you allowing yourself to benefit by the work that you have become. In other words, letting yourself become that which you have become. As Jerry and Esther travel about, they have a navigational system in their vehicles, 3 different kinds now, spread out among a few different vehicles. Magellan in one, OnStar in another, Pioneer in another. But they all operate on the same premise, where the system, because of the satellites in the sky and the contraptions in the vehicle, the system knows where they are. And then Jerry and Esther program in their destination. So there are only 2 things that are important. Where am I in relationship to where I want to be? So then Magellan just gives them verbal and visual description. And as Jerry and Esther get on the route, Magellan's just happy as she can be. It's a woman's voice. The man's voice was far too bossy. Magellan will just say, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here, turn here. But if Jerry and Esther get off the route that Magellan has suggested, Magellan will be very firm with them. Please proceed to the highlighted route. Please proceed to the highlighted route. Sometimes if they really get carried away and don't get on the route, Magellan will say, recalculating route. Or, when possible, make a legal U-turn. But it is very clear to Magellan that Jerry and Esther are not following the path that she has seen as the best path. And the reason that this contraption can figure that out is because the 2 points of vibrational relativity that are being considered point that out. You have 2 points of vibrational relativity within you at all times. And it is important to understand what they are. So contrast caused you to become something. And here you are in the process of bringing yourself up to speed with what your life experience has said you want. And the thing that we really want you to hear, in fact, we've written a book with the name of it. When you ask, it is given every single time. 3 steps to the process. First step is ask. Contrast causes you to do that. When you're sick, you want to be well. When you don't have enough of something, you want more of something. When you've got more than you want of something that you don't want, you want less of it. In other words, you're asking constantly at all levels of your being. So step 1 is ask. And we say, you can't help doing that. You got to do that. Step 2 is not your work. Source will answer what you are asking. And that's this thing that we're talking about here. When you ask, Source becomes it now. Step 3 is you've got to bring yourself up to speed with what you're asking for. And that really is what the art of allowing is. It's closing the gap between what life has caused you to become and what you are letting yourself really be right here and now. Now, the reason that this is so important is because your emotions, which are your guidance system, are all about this, all about these 2 points of vibrational relativity. If you have become more than you are allowing yourself to be, you don't feel so good. As you get up to speed with what you really are, you feel wonderful. So before you were born into this physical body, when you were just this non-physical energy, you were one powerful stream of pure positive energy. That's who you are. Then you were born into this physical body, and so you are this non-physical stream of pure positive energy, and now you are born, immediately there is a vibrational spread within you, because as you begin to observe or take on the characteristics of your physical time-space reality, you're not as pure positive energy as you were. So here you are, this new baby, you're born, you cry. It's weird to move into the resistance of the physical at first. Then you go to sleep and you tune back up. Then you wake up, you feel your mother's really worried about you. Then you go to sleep and you tune back up. Then you wake up and you can feel your mother's not getting enough sleep and she's really worried about you. Then you go to sleep and pretty soon you acclimate. And even as this little baby while you're awake, you're still pure positive energy. But as time goes by and you begin to watch CNN, or you begin to listen to the troubles of the world, as so many people are sure that their best method of motivating you to the action that is beneficial to them is to scare you.